Hello everyone and welcome to the F1 corner after the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. First time going back to this track since 2006. Lewis Hamilton takes victory in front of Valtteri Bottas. Astounding podium for Daniel Ricciardo, a bit lucky there, but more importantly, Mercedes now takes a world record breaking 7th consecutive world championship. No team got 7 championships in a row before. Pretty not uneventful, but I will say boring race in terms of overtaking. But there was some drama with Verstappen getting tire failure. And did Racing Point give away a podium to Renault with Sergio Perez pitting under the safety car? It's anybody's guess. But it was cool to go back to Imola even so. And now let's take a look at who are the winners and losers of this Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Before we start, I just want to remind you to smash the like button and to subscribe to this channel. Let's start with our winners for the weekend, and we have to start with Mercedes. 1-2 at the start, 1-2 at the end. Lewis Hamilton gets his 93rd F1 victory, and the team brings home a 7th consecutive World Championship, the most in a row in the history of Formula 1. A bit of luck for the second place, as Max Verstappen had a tire failure as he was running second, but when you do your job, you also make your own luck. Bottas had a chance of victory, but damaged his floor on the second lap, and his race was compromised from that point on, and a lucky safety car also helped Lewis to get in front. I'll be the first to argue there wasn't much challenge for the championship for Mercedes, but you've got to give them credit for simply doing a better job than anyone else. So for the weekend overall, they deserve a 9 out of 10. AlphaTauri. Incredible job at home for the Italian team. Qualifying 4th for Gasly and 8th for Kvyat, the Russian driver finishes 4th and brings home a lot of good points as they get closer to Ferrari in the championship. Gasly was not as lucky. Before the race, the Honda engineers were looking at the car and a terminal issue forced him to retire on lap 9, but we cannot blame the driver. He would have surely finished in the points if not for this engine bad luck. Let's hope they can keep the momentum going for the rest of the season and maybe, just maybe, finish in front of Ferrari in the championship. 8.5 out of 10 for AlphaTauri. Alfa Romeo. Well-managed race, different strategies, and taking advantage of opportunities, Alfa Romeo manages to bring both cars home in the point for the first time this season. Giovinazzi did an outstanding job, making his second stint on the medium tire last 53 laps, and Kimi Raikkonen ran the medium tire from the start all the way to lap 50 before pitting to fit the soft. Had he waited just a few other laps, he would have fallen on the safety car and maybe finished higher in the standing, but it is not something we can predict. He did a good job there. It was only a question of holding the other drivers behind after the safety car, and should be a happy ending after a pretty grim qualifying session on Saturday. Alfa Romeo deserved this result for trying something. 7.5 out of 10. Williams. Great weekend that ended in a big disappointment as they had a glimpse at a possible first point this season. Starting with a good 13th place on the grid for George Russell, everything was going well for the team, running 11th and 15th for a while and trying different strategies too. Under the safety car, Russell was in 10th and looking at the points, but a mistake while heating the tires saw him spin and hit the wall behind the safety car, forcing him to retire. Nicholas Latifi also had a good race, manages to finish 11th. Once again, Williams finishes right outside the points, but it was overall a very positive weekend and they are finally getting there and making some progress. 7.5 out of 10. Renault. Not a race that will make history, but Daniel Ricciardo manages to finish once again on the podium for Renault for the second time this season. They took a bit of a gamble under the safety car, not pitting and hoping they could hold their place in the pack at the restart, and it paid off. The only one that could have challenged them, Sergio Perez, could not make up enough ground and gifted the French team with this third place. As for Esteban Ocon, a clutch issue saw him retire on lap 29, tough luck. But more importantly, this weekend, Renault outscores McLaren and Racing Point and now officially takes third place in the championship standing, 1 point in front of the other two, and you can be sure that they will keep fighting to finish third this year after a very poor 2019 season and what we thought could be a tough 2020 season too. Good job, 7 out of 10. Now let's get down to the passing grades, starting with Racing Point. Did they give away a podium to Renault? We will never know. When that safety car came out, Perez was running in third place. He stopped, probably thinking that everyone would do the same, but he got the short end of the stick and finished 6th. Cannot be too disappointed though, considering he started in 11th place. Again, a strong result for the Mexican, who is still without a drive for next year. As for Lance Stroll, it was another tough weekend. 5th race in a row without points for him. He clipped Esteban Ocon's car on lap 1, had to pit to change his front wing, and it was over from that point. The Canadian was never able to climb back the order and get a good position, a race to forget for him, as the team also falls 5th in the Constructors' Championship behind Renault and McLaren. It is a 6.5 out of 10 for Racing Point. Ferrari. Weekends keeps being more of the same for Ferrari. Leclerc, a good result, and Vettel struggling. Good job for Charles, who manages to finish 5th, but Vettel, struggling again, can only manage his 12th. He had a chance to finish in the point, but a poor pit stop from the team saw him fall back the order. Otherwise, he might have been even in front of the McLaren. Cannot fully blame Sebastian on this week, but he does finish again behind both Alfa Romeos, and as a team, they have to be blamed for what happened there. Not much to say otherwise. They try to keep improving and secure the championship position, but it keeps proving tougher and tougher, with AlphaTauri really being a good team in this second half of the season and might be able to challenge them for 6th. It is a 6 out of 10 for Ferrari. McLaren. It was a tough weekend for the orange team, but they did manage to bring home both cars in the points 7 and 8. What stands out is that they are slowly starting to lose the fight to Renault and Racing Point after a strong start at the beginning of the season. It seems like the last few races saw McLaren falling back even so slightly that now they have been passed by Renault and have the exact same number of points as Racing Point. Unless they come up with something, I think it will be tough to fight back the two teams who are very strong at the moment and outscoring McLaren at almost every races. 6 out of 10 for the British team. And now we get down to our losers for this weekend, starting with Haas. Just another weekend at the office to forget. Magnussen spun on lap 1, fell at the back of the field and later had to retire. Grosjean was just never in the fight, and we haven't heard much about him for the whole race. Nothing to say really. They probably just want to move on to next season, and both drivers hope that they can end their misery soon. For Haas, it is a poor 5 out of 10. And finally, Red Bull. Worst possible outcome for Red Bull. After a brilliant start that saw Max Verstappen pass Lewis Hamilton and hold on to second place, and another great maneuver later in the race to regain second place from Valtteri Bottas, Verstappen had a tire failure and had to retire. Albon, starting 6th, had hope of climbing at the start of the race and assisting his teammate, but got stuck at this same position throughout most of the race. Then, after the safety car, He spun by himself and fell at the back of the field, finishing last in the standing when he could have used a good result to help him secure a drive for next season. In the end, Red Bull comes home with 0 points and are the biggest loser of the weekend overall. It's a 5 out of 10 for Red Bull. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. Please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I will see you again in Turkey for the next race. Thank you and see you next time.